Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Ask Snes. Hope everyone is doing well. So yeah, it's been a while since I made one of these videos. I do apologise to anyone who likes to watch these on a regular basis, but as you know, I'm going to do them as and when now. And yeah, I thought it was time to do a new one. Well, if I'm totally honest, Murray contacted me on Twitter, Muzz, and I can never remember the numbers on the end of your name, mate. But yeah, Murray contacted me yesterday and asked me when I was going to be doing a new episode. So I thought, you know what, I'll get off my arse and make a new episode. So here we are, guys, new episode of Ask Snes. A fair few questions from everyone from the last video, so thank you to everyone who asked questions, and let's get stuck straight in. First question comes from NKR, so thank you very much. And first question is, if you could fit an arcade cabinet in your game room, which one would it be? Well, I can't put it in the actual game room because it's in one of the spare bedrooms. So just due to the weight of the arcade cabinets, I'm not going to be putting one of those in the game room because I've got to, you know, you probably could. I mean, structurally the house could probably bear the weight, but it's not really worth the risk. So I've actually thought about this, and I've spoken to Retro Dave Nintendo about this as well. And if I ever do go down the route of buying arcade cabinets, there are only really 3 cabinets I want to get, and I think most people know this. That is Pit Fighter, which is very, very nostalgic to me, one of my favourite games of all time, and definitely a cabinet I would love to own one day. I know King Arthur, Tom, recently picked one up and he's restoring that, which I'm really looking forward to watching your videos, Tom, for watching this, because Tom said he's going to put some restoration videos up and show the project, so that's going to be really cool. The other one is Final Fight, another nostalgic game for me, an absolute classic scrolling beat 'em up, and you know, always been my favourite game, but I do think realistically the Streets of Rage is a slightly better game, a lot more in depth than Final Fight, but Final Fight, pure nostalgia, great game. And the third one is my other nostalgic title from the arcade, which is Operation Wolf, which is a phenomenal game and an absolute classic, and I love that. And you know, there's been some good home ports, but you can't beat having a cabinet with the Uzi, you know, and the recoil. That is something else. My good mate Dave, Retro Dave Nintendo, if you don't know his channel, please check him out, great guy. He actually bought an Operation Wolf cabinet a few months ago now, and he's been restoring little bits that needed to be done, and it looks fantastic. So yeah, that was something else that really spurred me on. But those, if I was going to pick an arcade cabinet, I'd have to pick 3. I couldn't pick one, it would have to be those 3. If it came down to just one, that's a tough choice. I'll be honest, it'd be between Operation Wolf and Pit Fighter, and I'd probably lean more towards Pit Fighter, which is probably, most people are going to go, why would you do that? But it's just, I don't know, man, I just love that game. The arcade version is so good. Right, next question from NKR. What was your first experience of gaming? Well, I've said it before, but obviously I'm assuming you don't know this, but the reason I started gaming was my dad, and I started gaming on his original bread bin Commodore 64, and the first game I ever played was Way the Exploding Fist, which was just an absolutely phenomenal game at the time. Haven't played it since the 80s, so it probably doesn't hold up as well now, but I mean, you know, nostalgically it looks stunning to me. So yeah, that's how I started. Next questions are from Nat Kennedy Bree, so cheers Nat. First question, roughly how many vinyls do you own? Well, looking at there, I'm probably close to 100, I think, near enough, give or take. I mean, when I started, I had a few albums of my own that I had from as a kid, and I'd kept them. And then I went a bit crazy and started doing the whole, you know, like most people who do buy vinyl, just going around, you know, just crate digging and just picking up anything and everything that I laid my hands on that looked interesting. I've slowed down with that now. I haven't been to car boot like probably for most of last year. I didn't go, I think the last time I went was early in 2015. So I'm more into buying new vinyl now, and I find that's a lot easier to do. It's more expensive as well, so that way it restricts what I actually buy. I'm more cautious and only buy albums I actually know. Either know I'm going to enjoy, or I've got a good idea if they're going to be decent. So yeah, so I've split my records up as well now. I've got one section which is all the old records in different genre, and then I've got the other cabinet, which is the other IKEA cabinet, Kallax unit, which has all my modern vinyls in it in separate genres as well. So yeah, still loving buying the vinyl, absolutely brilliant. Next question. What is your opinion? What in your opinion is the best science fiction TV show ever? Well, it's got to be Star Trek Next Generation, because it's just so good. I think on every level that show nailed it. They had an amazing cast of characters, and they picked really, really good actors to play all of the roles. There was really only 2 characters I didn't like in Next Generation, as compared to the other later ones, Deep Space Nine, Voyager and Enterprise, where well, not so much Enterprise, but especially Voyager. I didn't like most of the characters in that show. Deep Space Nine was a bit 50-50. But with Next Generation, the only ones I didn't like were Tasha Yar and, what's his name, Will Crusher. Those are the only two characters, and both of them got rid of them. They killed Tasha, and I can't remember him to Will. I don't know if he went off to Starfleet or whatever it was. Is it Starfleet in Star Trek? I can't remember. I know it was a cartoon, but anyway, he buggered off somewhere. So I was well happy with that because he was an annoying little shit. But yeah, I mean, other than that, they had an amazing cast of characters. You know, Will Riker, Picard, Data, Beverly Crusher, Guinan, Q, Worf. You know, Lore. It was just an incredible show, and they dealt with really serious issues in a really good way. So it was easy to watch. It wasn't like pounding you over the head with it. And yeah, I absolutely love that show. Another show would probably be Sliders. I was a massive fan of Sliders growing up. I used to think that show was fantastic. If anything should be rebooted, actually, reboot Sliders. I'd love to see that done again. It lost its way a little for me when it started having the Cro-Mags in it. I just, yeah. My dad didn't mind that, he thought it was alright, but when you start getting that totalitarian regime, Nazi thing again, it just gets a bit lazy to me when I do that in TV shows, especially in sci-fi. But yeah, Sliders was great. Right, next question from Lee Metters. Cheers, Lee. Let's have a quick swig of my tea. That's better. Okay, have you seen Quantic Dream's new game, Detroit Become Human? I have indeed, mate, and I'm very excited for it. As you know, I assume by asking that question, I am a massive fan of Quantic Dream, one of my favourite developers, and you know, ever since I played Heavy Rain, I've been a fan. And then I went back and played Fahrenheit, which was just incredible. And of course, after that, it was Beyond Two Souls after Heavy Rain, which was okay. I mean, it's a solid game. The story in that just didn't really do it for me like Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain just sucked me in completely. But yeah, I saw the trailer. Was it Gamescom? I can't remember. I think it was Gamescom. I don't think it was E3. No, Paris Games Week, wasn't it? Of course it was. So it was later in the year last year. Yeah, Paris Games Week, they released the first trailer for Detroit, and it's coming off the back of their original demo that they put out for Kara, which was an incredible tech demo. I remember seeing that and being absolutely blown away. And you know, usually their tech demos don't always translate to game. Obviously, they did one with Heavy Rain, which did translate to a game, and they did the Kara one, which never came to anything, but now is. And they did the Wizard one as well, like 2 years ago, I think it was at E3. I think it was 2 years ago. So maybe that might become something eventually, I don't know. But I think that's just more a way of showing the technology of the PS4, what it can do. But yeah, I'm very excited for this new game, Detroit. I'll be interested more when we get to see more about what the story's going to be and everything. The actress looks familiar, I think. I don't know her name, but I believe she's the actress, assuming they stick with the same actress they used in the trailer anyway, the face, was the actress who played the young girl in the Kevin Bacon show. Shit, brain's gone blank. The one about the cult. The Following. I think it was her. So it looked like her anyway. But yeah, excited as hell, mate. I cannot wait to get more information about that. Quantic Dream are definitely a great developer to keep an eye on. Next up, we have LFC Gamer. Cheers, mate. Right, how many years did it take you to complete Super Castlevania 4? Took me over 15 years to 100% Rayman on the PS1. Jesus, mate, that's impressive. Castlevania 4, I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty certain. I completed it back in the 90s when I had it on the PAL Snes. And since then, I've never completed it until, was it 2 years ago? I think 2013, 2014. So well, technically 3 years ago, but we only just started 2016. So yeah, I think it's about 20, it might have been 2014 then. Yeah, it was on Twitter anyway, somewhere. So it might have been 2014, because I haven't been on Twitter that long, have I? So yeah, so with that in mind, I think the game came out in 91, didn't it? If I remember rightly. So yeah, so shit, that's like 23 years. But I'm pretty sure I did finish it back in the day. I'm sure of it. I've got on one of my old VHSs where I taped all my music when I used to record MTV in the box and all those channels. There's at one point, because obviously with VHS, when you record over stuff, you tend to get bits between bits. That old video seeps through. And I was watching it the one night, and my old recordings of Street Fighter 2 and Castlevania 4 came through. You know, you get like that grey stuff on VHS, it goes, and then it shows the old footage and it goes back onto what you've recorded over it. And there was like a really tiny bit of the first part of Castlevania where you're walking through the castle grounds. I was just like, damn. I wish I still got the Street Fighter one, because I remember that. I remember doing it, sitting with my mate Martin, playing Street Fighter 2 on a PAL Snes, which is never fun because it's so slow, but at the time it didn't bother me, obviously. But I remember clocking Street Fighter 2, recording it on VHS, and I clocked it in one sitting without any continues with Ryu. I was well chuffed. I've never managed to do that ever since, so yeah, I was pretty good back then. Next question. Which celebrities do you like that unfortunately get way too much stick by the media? Britney Spears. I don't know if she does as much now, because I don't really pay attention to like TMZ and entertainment news, but you know, in the past with all the things that happened with Britney, you know, I totally thought it was out of order the way the press treated her, you know, and to be fair, I think the way the press treated her was probably part of the reason why she had a breakdown. You know, like all that pressure, I think a lot of celebrities really, all that pressure of the paparazzi and all them dickheads, that's going to get to you after a while. I don't know how people can survive. You know, people also, oh, it's part of the job, and yeah, it is. You accept that when you take the job on and become a celebrity. I understand that, but there is a limit, there's a level, you know, and sometimes, well, in fact, most of the time, they go way over the line. You know, there has to be. You know, they're still human beings at the end of the day. They're still trying to live their life, and I don't think it's right the way the press are treating celebrities at all. But yeah, Britney got a rough ride. Right. Next question from Retro Sega Raxel. Thank you. And that question is, what is your opinion on the current state of the games, movie and music industry? Right, we'll leave gaming till last. Music industry, I think, is sound. There's a good variety on all genres. There's a lot of really great artists coming up, as well as, you know, older artists still making great records. So yeah, I'm loving music. I mean, especially lately, I've been really listening to a lot of music and getting into. I mean, you know, I've always said music is number one for me. I can't live without it. I listen to it every day. But I've really been, you know, pushing myself to listen to a lot more albums recently, because I was kind of stuck in a groove listening to the same stuff over and over again. I've been trying to, move around a bit, find some new artists as well. Found a few due to Jules Holland on the Hootenanny at New Year, which was good. Just found another artist the other night, and I don't know how you pronounce her name correctly. I assume it's Alicia Cara. I'll just go with that. She's fantastic. I'm really impressed with her style and her voice, and her lyrics, really interesting. So yeah, really cool. But yeah, I love the music industry. I don't think, you know, it's just great. Movies, again, I think, all right, fair enough, they do tend to repeat the same old thing a lot of the time. But, you know, they put new spins on it, and I'm not a movie aficionado. I'm not one of those pretentious people. You know, to me, I'll watch a film if it's good. You know, I mean, I do not watch a lot of indie films, and I don't watch foreign cinema. Mainly, I've said many a time before, I don't watch foreign cinema just because of subtitles. It's not because I'm ignorant, it's just that I find it impossible to read the subtitles and to match it up with the person and to really feel the emotion. I just don't get that. That's just me, you know. Everybody's different. So I tend to stick to mainstream Hollywood. And for me personally, last year was a really strong year. There were so many great films that came out last year that I saw, like Spectre, The Martian, which was an incredible film. I've seen it twice and it blew my socks off. It was so impressive. You know, Star Wars, of course, was absolutely stunning. Ant-Man was an amazing surprise. Avengers was okay, wasn't as good as it should have been. I'm just trying to think, I watched so many bloody films last year. Just trying to remember a few others I've seen. Oh, of course, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation as well. Absolutely stunning film that was. Amazingly, 5 films in and they're still brilliant. Mission Impossible, the first one's still my favourite because, to be fair, all the others are action movies. The first one's a proper spy thriller, but nonetheless, and it's closest to the original material as well. But number 5 was just so good. So yeah, movie industry is really strong. And coming up, you know, we've got Batman v Superman, we've got Captain America Civil War. And what else was there? There was a few others I wanted to see this year. I'm blanking, but I know there's a really good slate of films coming out. Oh, Doctor Strange is one I'm interested in because I know nothing about the character. So I'm hoping it's going to be like Ant-Man where it surprises me, and it's got Benedict Cumberbatch, which is always a good sign. And the material that's been released so far, the photographs now look absolutely incredible. So yeah, looking forward to that. And as for the gaming industry, well, the gaming industry is the one where I'm kind of losing a little bit of faith, if I'm absolutely honest with you. I'm just feeling like this generation isn't as strong as I was expecting it to be. And it may be a slow start, but we're nearly 3 years in there, and it just feels to me like not a lot's coming out. That really, and this is just me personally, because you know a lot of people out there you like different games. A lot of people like indie games. I don't have an interest in playing indie games. People say, yeah, but if you don't play them, how can you know you don't like them? Well, I'm not saying I don't like them really. I suppose I'm just saying I just have no interest in playing them. And so I only play the big AAA titles, and a lot of them that are getting launched recently and getting announced are not games in genres that I'm interested in. You know, and I get to the point where because I'm running out of ideas, there's games that I think, well, maybe I should try that, but I know I'm not going to like it, and I end up regretting it, so I'm stopping doing that. But I know there's a question coming up about the games in a bit, so I'll talk about the games I'm looking forward to in 2016 in a while. But yeah, other than that, I just think, I don't know, the gaming industry just seems to be a bit of an impasse at the moment. I mean, Microsoft seems to be doing really well. They've got some great games coming to Xbox. PlayStation is great if you love indie titles. And other than that, for me personally as a AAA guy at the moment, it's a little bit lacking. I'm hoping it's going to get better. It usually does with PlayStation. I mean, PlayStation 3 took a while before the good stuff started coming out. I mean, I really liked Resistance on day one launch, but yeah, it took a while before you got like the Heavy Rains and the Uncharted. But yeah, and then Nintendo, well, we shall see. So, right, thanks for the question, mate. And next questions are from my good mate Murray, Muzz247365. Finally remember the numbers, there you go. Well, not so much remember them because they're in front of me, but you know what I mean. Okay, so thank you, Murray. And first question from Murray is, now that you've watched all the Star Wars movies, do you wish you had watched them sooner in life? I'd probably say no, to be honest with you. I mean, the instinct is to say yeah, of course, but I'm quite happy that I didn't get to see them. It would have been nice to have the nostalgic attachment to them, but realistically, I'll be honest, after watching the first three and then watching The Force Awakens, I said in my Force Awakens review, I still got the tingle. I still got, you know, the emotional connection. It was really weird. I got like a pseudo nostalgia feeling when I shouldn't have got one, and it was just exciting to watch a movie that's actually a movie. It's complete and utter pure escapism. You know, it's not taking itself too seriously. It's not trying to have commentary or any of that. I'm sure if you look deep enough, it has got social commentary, but for me, it was just a movie in the traditional sense where you can just go in and have a lot of fun and enjoy it. And I was glued to the screen for 2.5 hours or however long it was. It was incredible. So yeah, I don't regret it at all, really. I watched the prequels recently. Nah, to be fair, 2 and 3 weren't so bad. They were watchable, but there was so much that was wrong with those 3 films. I was going to do a video on it and I thought, nah, because I'll be there forever. I'll just give you a quick synopsis. Basically, I felt like Phantom Menace was terrible. It was clearly, you know, I mean, apparently it was early days of CG anyway when that was made, and it shows, because you can see when Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor are standing there in their positions on their marks so that they can insert Jar Jar Binks. It just looks terrible. Like, most of the film looks like it's on a soundstage. It's crap. The CG looks awful. The only saving grace in the whole of the film was Darth Maul. That was it. You know, and the only moment in the whole film that I actually felt was an actual Star Wars moment. And you know, this is coming from someone who's only watched the original three films once. So you know, take that with a pinch of salt. But for me, to get that Star Wars feel, the only moment I found in the whole of the Phantom Menace was that one very small clip where Darth Maul walks off his ship, stands out on the cliff top, and then just turns towards the camera. That felt very Star Wars. The rest of it didn't. Even like the fight at the end with Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan and Darth Maul was incredible. But again, the problem was they had that bullshit where they're in the doorway thing and the lights are on, and when the light goes off they can go through. And this is my fundamental issue with all 3 prequels. They felt like video games. They did not feel like movies. I felt like I was watching like 6 hours of video game cutscenes, and it was just shockingly bad. The lightsabers were awful. They were just swinging them around 90 miles an hour, just throwing them all over the place. They were jumping up in the air, 90 foot in the air. They were doing ridiculous chest kicks, and I'm like, what the hell is this? This is not a lightsaber fight. That was mainly 2 and 3. 1 was more grounded, as I say, the Darth Maul fight, but 2 and 3, Jesus Christ, shockingly bad. Anakin kidding number 1, no one to punch him. He's so annoying. You know, crap actor. Everyone goes on about Hayden Christensen, but I didn't actually he didn't bother me at all. He's not the greatest actor, and he does a lot of this weird shit when he grits his teeth, which was kind of odd. When he was getting angry, I just didn't buy that at all. But yeah, they're nowhere near as good as the originals. The originals and Force Awakens are far superior. Right, next question. Which 4 games are you most looking forward to this year? Right, so I went online to find out exactly what games are coming out, which was difficult to get a full list, because every time I try and look for lists, all I get is websites like Polygon and Kotaku, and you know, and game trailers and IGN just saying like their anticipated games. Like, no, I just want a full list of games coming out. So I'll start with, I'll be honest, as I said earlier, there isn't a lot coming out that really excites me. There are a couple of games I want to play, but they're not like games that, you know, I'm absolutely dying to play, but I am interested to check them out. So I'd call them honourable mentions, and they are Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which, you know, I love the first Mirror's Edge, so I've got good good vibes about the second one. We'll see when it comes out. Homefront and Revolution, which has been worked on by my good mate Matt, Soul Funk Retro, top bloke. So I'm intrigued to see that, because all we've seen is a very small demo so far. So yeah, I want to see more of that. I want to see what Matt's working on. I want to see a proper gameplay of that. Then there's Hellblade from Ninja Theory, which I'm very excited to see. That's from the team that obviously gave us Heavenly Sword, and it looks very Heavenly Sword as well. So it looks like a sequel, but they claim it isn't. But I'm intrigued to see more of that, because we've only seen a small trailer so far. Then there's Recall from Keiji Inafune, the Mega Man guy, and that is coming exclusively to Xbox. Again, I know nothing about it other than the trailer they showed at E3, which was a cinematic, so who knows what that's going to be, but maybe it's Mega Man inspired, who knows, maybe it's not. I'm intrigued to see what it's going to be. And the last one would be Star Fox Zero. Now, obviously I don't own a Wii U, and I have no interest in buying a Wii U. I just love the look of that game. I think it looks fantastic, and as a die-hard Star Fox fan, I've got to be excited about it. I also really kind of hope, because it's been pushed back, it's going to get pushed back again, and it'll get pushed back to the Nintendo NX, or whatever the console ends up being called, because that way we can get rid of the motion control bullshit and just play the game properly. Right, so on to the top 4 games that these are the games that I'm looking forward to playing the most next year. This year, like 2016. So first one, obviously you're going to know what it is, Uncharted 4. Top of the list, because massive Uncharted fan. I recently, over Christmas, played through the original trilogy again. So that's 9 times for Uncharted 2 and about 6 or 7 for Uncharted 1 and Uncharted 3 together. That's an incredible series. I just love them, so I cannot wait for the 4th one to come out. Next up is Quantum Break on the Xbox from Remedy, which that's probably my most anticipated game this year, because I'm fascinated to see how it's actually going to work with the gameplay and the TV element as well. Because from what I'm understanding now, they've changed it up, and the TV element is going to be more like cutscenes, but live action cutscenes, and it's from the villain's perspective and the game's from the hero's perspective. I'm absolutely fascinated by this project, and I think if anyone can pull it off, it's Remedy, because you know, you look at their back catalogue and they've got a good history, so I'm very excited about that game. Then there's Gears of War 4, which is not a game I would have expected to be excited about, but in a year where there's not a lot coming out that interests me, that is a game that's up there, because I really enjoy the Gears of War series. They're not, you know, nothing mind-blowing, you know, they're not really going to like tax you or, you know, have like a social commentary or any of that, but they're just really, really fun cover shooters, and I've always enjoyed them, so Gears of War 4 would be great. And the last one, and it hasn't got a date yet, but as far as I'm aware, it's supposed to be coming out in 2016, is Mafia 3, which looks incredible. The graphics look stunning on the game. I absolutely loved Mafia 2. I thought it was a fantastic game, so I'm very excited to see what Mafia 3 is like. Right, next question from Murray. Do you have any excitement for the upcoming Nintendo NX at this point? Right, to be honest with you, Murray, no. It's a simple answer. I'm not, and when I say that, I mean I'm not hyped. You know, if you've been with me for a while, you'll know that when the Wii U was originally announced, I went apeshit for the Wii U. I was on about it a lot on videos. You know, when I bought a Wii U, I made videos about it, how great it was, and I absolutely loved that machine. I was well behind it. And then as time went by, I realised actually it isn't that great. The games aren't that great. I found them, you know, very lackluster, and I found that they were far too easy, and Mario Kart bored the tits off me. And you know, the controller was giving me cramp because it was too big, and the screen wasn't being used to its full capacity. It was such a great idea, yet the developers just didn't bother, just stuck a map on it. And you know, I want to be excited about the Nintendo NX, I really do, because if the concept's right about the hybrid system, it's quite interesting to see how it's going to work, if it works right. I'm just worried that it's going to be same old Nintendo that they have been for the last few years now, and they're just going to do the same mistakes, screw the marketing up like they did with the Wii U, not explain to the general public what this machine is and what it actually does, and that it's a brand new system. They're going to have some kind of crazy gimmick which isn't going to work. I hope not. I mean, this hybrids idea is a really good idea, and it could be something interesting, but I just really, like a lot of people, just want Nintendo to go back to the NES and SNES days, make a standard console with a normal controller, and just put out great game after great game. Bring on the third parties, get them to make exclusives for it as well, would be nice. You know, as well as, you know, make interesting versions of their cross-platform games to make it worthwhile buying the console. I mean, it's all pretty standard stuff that we all know, you know. But yeah, I'm hopeful more than excited, I think is the word. Yeah, I'm hopeful that the E3 is going to roll around in June. Nintendo is going to do a proper press conference, not do a Nintendo, I was going to say Nintendo Minute, but it's not, blanking, what's it called now? You know what I mean, anyway. One of their little videos. I forgot what it's called. God, that's annoying. Anyway, yeah. So I'm hoping that in Nintendo Direct, that was it. I'm hoping they won't do a Nintendo Direct, they'll do an actual proper press conference, because this time, man, they need to do a big press conference, bring it out on stage. This is the console. This is, you know, what's inside it and all that gubbins. They probably won't, because I don't tend to talk about specs, but you know what I mean. This is the console, this is the controller, here's the games that are coming on day one, and just, you know, make it really plain and clear and simple, so that therefore all the mainstream media can pick it up, report it, and everybody who's not a gamer but has owned a Wii and didn't buy a Wii U because they had no idea what the hell it was, will think, oh, actually Nintendo's got a new console coming out and it actually looks quite interesting, I might try that. You know, they need to be really clear this time about what the product is and what it actually does. And that's all I want, and I don't think that's a difficult thing for them to do. They're Nintendo, for Christ's sake. You know, they can easily come back and slaughter Microsoft and Nintendo and be king of the gaming world again, which is what I want more than anything as a Nintendo fan. I just know it's unrealistic to think that, but you know, I always have hope. And the last question today from Murray is, which one retro system would you like to add to your collection this year? That would be the Nintendo NES, NES, Nintendo Entertainment System. Yeah, very interested in getting another one of those at some point in the future. I'm not going to say this year because I don't even know if that's going to be possible, to be quite honest. But yeah, I was looking at my systems the other night and just, you know, figuring out what I wanted to do with the games, because I've got a lot of other interests now that I really start to take more front and centre than the gaming. I still love my game and I still play my games, obviously, and I still have that collector mentality. But I'm kind of shying away a little bit from it now. I'm moving back a bit from it, because for over 10 years I've been hardcore collecting and buying, selling, buying again, selling, all that bollocks. And you know, I sold my Super Nintendo collection last year, which, you know, I do have regrets about, but it was something I had to do at the time, so it is what it is. You can't go backwards, you know, you've got to keep going forwards, you can't change the past. So, when I thought about it the other night, I thought, what am I going to do? So, I sold my N64 games, because my intention of buying those was to buy an N64 in the future. I've just come to the realisation that realistically, I just don't want to bother buying an N64 again. There's nothing more to it than that, I just don't want to buy one. So I thought, sold the games, stuck them on eBay, someone bought them straight away, so they're gone. Then I thought about the Genesis, and I thought, as much as I like the Genesis, it's a great system, it's 16-bit, and there's an incredible catalogue of games. I've never had the intention to actually go out and buy games for it. You know, I always buy the system and I buy a couple of games for it, and then I never really get around to buying more. I just don't think about it. I'm looking at SNES, and mostly SNES, yeah, and you know, occasionally PlayStation and Xbox. And I'll be honest, since I've had the Genesis, I've hardly played it. I mean, I picked up Sonic a few months ago, and I've only played it like twice, I think, since I had it. So I've put that on eBay. Whether it sells is another thing. And the way I look at it, I've put it on there. I'm not going to be, you know, I'm not just going to sell it to get rid of it. So if someone offers me a stupid price, which someone did the other night, I'll just get rid of it. No. I'm putting it up there. If people want it, they can have it. If they don't, and are not willing to pay a decent price for it, then I'll just keep the system. And then in the future, if I decide to collect for it, I decide to collect for it. Or if I just decide to buy a couple of games like Sonic 2 and Streets of Rage and just play them, you know. I just don't want to put any barriers and, you know, any rules in place, because that's when you just start getting in trouble as a collector. You just end up, you know, convincing yourself, you need to own this, you need to own that, you need to buy this and that and the other, you need to do it this way, and it's like, no, just do what you want. So, yeah, and I looked at all the systems that I've owned in the past, which is pretty much anything from Nintendo upwards I've owned now, or you know. So I thought, which ones do I actually, if I'm ever going to buy another system again, what is it going to be? And the NES is probably the only one. The Master System was very tempting, and I'll never say that off the table, because I do like the Master System. I've still got Robocop vs Terminator on the shelf. But yeah, mainly the NES, because I really liked it when I got it last time and I had the RGB NES. And you know, not growing up with one, but I played it briefly at my mate Michael's house when I was growing up, and I really enjoyed it back then. I thought it was a great system. You know, I mean, it was very late 80s, early 90s, so this was, you know, I had my Amiga, which was, in my opinion, better at the time. Obviously, you can be more objective as an adult, and the Super Nintendo and the Mega Drive were coming out, so yeah. But I really enjoyed it anyway, and having one myself, you know, in the last couple of years, I've had a couple of them, and I've really liked them. So yeah, I would like to eventually, at some point, pick up a NES. It will be an RGB modded one as well. I'm not going to bother. I was going to just get one box from America and just have you know, standard one with the fuzzy screen, and I thought, nah, bollocks to it, just save the money up and buy an RGB one. They're much better. So you know, I'll get one of them at some point, and then I'll start buying games for it. But I just want, you know, with no like, oh, I'm going to have full set, or I'm going to buy this amount of games, or I'm going to buy boxed and complete, or whatever it may be. Although to be fair, the games will be boxed because I don't buy loose cartridge. But yeah, but the main focus for me is Super Nintendo, and yeah, just Super Nintendo really. I'll be buying a few PS1 games as well because they're going up in price at some point. But main thing is to get my Super Nintendo collection up. Get that done, I'll be happy. So hopefully that waffle has sort of made some sense. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching as always. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Ask Snes, really appreciate it. If you've got any questions for me, leave them down in the comments below this video. Next time I make an Ask Snes video, I'll pick some questions out and answer them for you. Really appreciate you watching my videos guys. Thank you to all my new subscribers as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.